Littleton. It's a monument along South Santa Fe Drive to the founder of Littleton, Richard S. Little. He built his first log cabin right over the hill here near the Platte River and near the Santa Fe Trail. South Santa Fe Drive is the main artery between Denver and Littleton, the town that he founded. It's important to the economic region. It's important for the travel. It's a very busy road. And we're going to look at it. We're going to look at South Santa Fe because a lot of people think something must be done with it. We're going to start here in Littleton, where it's been cleaned up a bit, where it's been modernized, where the buildings are new and efficient, and move up north toward Denver to where the buildings are older and where they represent the history of the area, where they represent the rough and ready attitude, the same attitude Richard S. Little had. We're going to look at him through the eyes of the camera. We're going to talk to some people here in Littleton about what they think of the area. We're going to get the views of the camera, the views of the people, and then we're going to let you decide. My name is Brian Smith, and I represent a group of people who want to keep South Santa Fe Drive the way it is. We want to preserve it for our children. It represents an important past. The small motels, they house many tourists and travelers to this area, and they're important. The businesses are important. I don't think that we should bulldoze them down and widen the highway and streamline Santa Fe and turn it into just another parkway. We should leave it the way it is. Leave it as a standing symbol to those rough and ready days. Arapahoe Community College, a symbol of America's commitment to the future. But what about America's commitment and Littleton's commitment to the past glories and past mistakes? I remember when I was a kid, a long time ago, a train full of Coors beer derailed and went through the Arapahoe Community College building, the only building, the whole school. Now there's tennis courts. And they erected this large, modern, efficient structure with thick concrete train-proof walls. And that's all we have left. I'm standing here at Arapahoe Community College with ACC student Stephanie Lucero. Stephanie, you've driven down South Santa Fe a couple times, haven't you?
Mm-hmm, sure.
And you've driven past the motels and the couple of the porn shops and things like that as you go farther north.
Yeah.
What do you think of them? What do you think should be done with them?
Well, to tell you the truth, I don't even really pay attention to a lot of them. When you come to think about it, I really don't care, but some people think it's disgusting, whatever. To tell you the truth, don't really care.
You don't care. Do you know that they're going to widen the highway and bulldoze down quite a few of those buildings?
No, I didn't know that, but if they did, it wouldn't really bother me.
It wouldn't bother you. Well, I'm kind of all for preserving those buildings, preserving them for historical sake and saving them for generations to come. And you sound like when you drive past, you don't even notice them.
Oh, I do. Sometimes I notice maybe the people going into them, but they're not interesting to me. I wouldn't really care if they got knocked down forever.
So you don't care if they got knocked down. Well, Stephanie's ride is here, and she's got to get going. We'd like to thank her for coming and talking to us, and we're going to find someone else here to talk to.
Okay, bye.
Thank you again. Standing here talking to Patrick Gardner, ACC student. Patrick, how long have you lived in Littleton?
About 3 years.
You ever driven up Santa Fe Drive north going through Englewood toward Denver?
Yes, all the way.
What do you think is a more attractive area? The south area down here, the campus, McDonald's, 4 lanes, and the parkway look over by Bellevue, or do you like it up there better with the motels and things like that?
Well, I think ACC is probably the best looking thing on the whole street. It's not all that good looking, but by comparison, like you've got your 25-cent sex arcades in your adult bookstores and your cheap 99-cent breakfast truck stops.
You don't find that those places to have any character at all, to have any aesthetic value? I mean, the ambience of the area here is nil. This is all 20th century to me. I find it appalling that they would remove those motels and remove those cafes, and those people, they work hard for their money.
They sure do. I mean, like, look at this view we've got from ACC here. You got all these mountains with these beautiful white peaks, good scenic area, and you ruin it with all this trash warehouse stuff. And it's a beautiful, it's a highway that runs all the way along the Front Range, and it's a beautiful highway except for the the trash they put along it.
I've heard people say that they should probably bulldoze most of South Santa Fe, from about Mississippi down through Evans down about Bellevue. Do you agree with that?
No.
You don't agree with that?
No.
I don't either. I think that doing that would remove a good part of Colorado's history, an area that I think should be preserved as Colorado historical area. But you seem to disagree. You don't like the bookstores, the motels.
Well, they're okay for their, type of clientele, but most people don't really like 25-cent sex arcades.
But it's a part of life. I think it should be preserved.
No comment.
Another ACC student is Kevin McLean. Kevin, you've driven down Santa Fe and seen some of the buildings.
Yes, I have.
What are your impressions of them?
Well, I think that's probably the ugliest street in the country, and the optimum plan for that would make it'd be optimum for a tight-packed missile setup. Optimum site.
Optimum site for tight pack missiles. The dense pack.
Yeah, the dense pack.
Well, I kind of believe that it's a natural historic area, and it's got ambiance and beauty all its own. It's got character. You disagree with that?
It characters in the toilet, as far as I'm concerned.
Characters in the toilet. But you don't see any reason to preserve any of that. You don't see. You would prefer to put missiles in there.
Yeah, I think that would be much more profitable.
More profitable to put missiles in along South Santa Fe.
It'd save a lot of tear-down crews a lot of time and money.
So you think, if not missiles, they should tear it down? You don't think it's important to our history for our children to find that type of what we lived in at one time?
Would you want your children down there?
I think it's very important. Yes, I think it's very important to preserve that area as a natural historic society.
Your kids might be down there right now, then.
Well, Kevin, why do you wear sunglasses? I noticed that most of the males we talked to here at ACC are wearing sunglasses. Are you hiding something?
Acid.
Let's continue our journey down Santa Fe. Convenient South Santa Fe. That's what this area is. Looking at all the signs, all those artistic signs, we see that the motels, the bars, and the restaurants are all right near each other. Here along Bellevue, though, we have no congestion at all. Traffic runs smoothly because of the train overpass built right near South Santa Fe. I remember many times being stuck in traffic jams here and meeting my neighbors as we waited for the coal trains to go by, but no longer. We've lost that neighborhood aspect because we've streamlined the road and made it easier to go from one place to another. Isn't society going fast enough as it is? The Goblet Lounge, there's a place you can slow down. And Mel's Diner, a place for good eats. It's interesting as we look down here how artistic the buildings are, how artistic the signs are. Architecture is a plus here. Mel's Diner's had many owners, mostly because of its architectural qualities and its location. Yellowfront, a famous place. And the Circle C Saloon and Angler's All, one of my favorite places to buy fishing equipment, located right near the Platte River. Great location. Farther down the street, we find the Fish and Chips, one of the few businesses that hasn't successfully moved into the Santa Fe area. Why? Because there's so much fish in the Platte River right down the street. I'm standing now in front of the Waffle House with a couple guys named Jim and Terry. Jim works here, Terry eats here. How's the food, Terry?
It's good food.
How are the prices?
They're real reasonable. Real reasonable prices for the food.
And Jim, you work here. Is it a busy place to work?
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you attribute the success to? We spoke to the manager earlier. He says it's the location.
I don't know. Waffle House just got a good name across the country, you know. I've worked at them in Indiana, and I've worked at them here, you know.
Well, we're doing a segment here on South Santa Fe. What do you think of South Santa Fe?
I don't know. It's pretty congested. Could use a lot of work, you know. Other than that, I don't know. It's never really gave it much thought.
What kind of work? We've looked at some of the motels and some of the businesses up and down the street. My opinion is that it represents a part of society that we should keep. It's a national landmark. It's a historical area, so that our children can see how we used to live. What do you think?
I think a lot of the businesses around here are pretty old. Some of them need to be renovated and you know, a little work done to them. But I don't know, for us, historical and all that, I don't know. You know.
Terry, you say you're a construction worker. What do you think they should do with some of the what some people consider the rundown rent areas of South Santa Fe?
Gotta tear them down and put up decent ones.
You don't feel that they have any historical value, any aesthetic beauty or anything like that?
Yeah, they got that, but they ain't fit to live in.
They're not fit to live in. So you think they should just tear them down?
Yeah, the older ones that, half of them can be condemned right now, and they ain't worth nothing, so I just tear them down. Either that or fix them up where they could be something for a national landmark or something, But
I'm standing in front of a sign that graphically displays the devotion and commitment of the community of Littleton to the enrichment of its future and the preservation of its past. The Saratoga Club, the Rotary Club, the Lions Club, they're all here and they all work hard. They work hard for themselves and for their children to preserve a lifestyle that they know. One of the things that upsets me, though, is that they would probably want to change South Santa Fe. They would probably want to landscape this area and put a park in, put swing sets in, maybe a baseball diamond. I don't think they're right. I think they're missing the point as they drive from Littleton to Denver, and they're not seeing the aesthetic beauty. This area combines the past and the present, synthesized into its own unique landscape. A natural resource that's disappearing all over the country. Waste dump sites are being cleaned up, and so are auto dump sites. And South Santa Fe has one of the most unique auto dump sites because of the landscape and because of the trees that are around it. It's a natural playground in itself, and I remember as a child playing here with my friends. I think it should be preserved. Let's walk down and take a closer look at this part of South Santa Fe, probably my favorite, and I think after you see it through my eyes, it'll be your favorite too. We've moved down into the junkyard, and as I said, it's a natural playground, and I'm standing here with Steve Knight, 12-year-old boy from Englewood. Steve, what brings you down here?
Well, BJ Hayes says there's a legend down here. Something about some guy in 1901 got killed by somebody else. So I just decided to come down here with them. They talked me into it, so now I'm down here.
Have you found it's a good place to come down and mess around for a couple guys, with a couple of your friends?
Yeah, it's really fun.
What have you been doing so far this afternoon? You found anything interesting? Any bones maybe, or an old knife or some old bottles or anything?
Well, we found bottles and a lot of pipes and boards for people used boards for bridges.
Yeah. Do you think this is a dangerous place? Do you think your mother would get upset if she knew you were down here messing around in kind of a junkyard area?
I wouldn't really know.
You wouldn't know. Well, we're not going to tell her. But like I said, this is a natural place. It's a natural playground for kids. And like I said, I came down here when I was young, and the youngsters are still coming down here. We're going to move farther on down South Santa Fe and look at some more exciting aspects of the cultural and economic activity that exists here. The Iron Horse. The Iron Horse came out west and followed the cattle trails. And it follows along the corridor of South Santa Fe today. It's not as big as it used to be. Some of the tracks aren't used anymore, but it's an integral part of the complex landscape of the South Santa Fe corridor. Here we have a standing symbol to those bygone eras. An old boxcar. You've got to wonder what it carried at one time, what goods, what destinations it went to, the far exotic places of this country that it traveled along the steel rails. Now it stands here as cheap housing for the corridor. Sure, no one's home today. I believe the occupant summer's in Miami. But in the summertime, these boxcars are filled with people who contribute to society. Not dregs. These people contribute to society. I spent 3 years growing up in one of these boxcars, and I have some fond memories of them. Let's continue our look at South Santa Fe. And don't look at the railroad tracks as a problem because they cause you traffic jams or you have to wait for the coal trains to go by and you're late for work. No, there's beauty here. There's beauty in the landscape, and it's all here along the South Santa Fe corridor. Let's continue our journey. As we continue our journey, we find the pioneer spirit still exists along South Santa Fe. Look at this guy going out and getting his own firewood. Look at the size of that piece. I'll bet it'll burn for a few hours. This is an area where you can get your own energy, you can hunt your own food. But if you don't feel like hunting your own food, there's places to go eat. Places like the Magic Chef. Fine meals at reasonable prices. And we heard that down the street too. So Santa Fe has it all. And it also has a beautiful view of the Rockies. Let's continue our journey and look farther on down the scenic Santa Fe corridor. Part of the money generated along the South Santa Fe corridor comes in the entertainment industry. I'm standing outside a small building that houses some very fine entertainment. Let's go find out how business is and what kind of entertainment we find in here. Well, it's a very entertaining place, and business seems to be doing rather well. We're going to continue to look at Santa Fe and some of the other things that that go on around here. I'm standing here at the Santa Fe Miniature Golf and Driving Range, another one of the important businesses along South Santa Fe Drive. We've looked at other entertainment industries, and this is just another one. Good, wholesome, clean, family fun. Business is usually good here, but it's a little bit slow on this February afternoon, but I'm sure it's going to pick up as the weather continues to be nice. But back here at the miniature golf course, we see the Eiffel Tower hole. It's a tough par 3, and it's my favorite on this course. But not only is it a tough hole, it represents the cultural commitment that the people here on South Santa Fe Drive have made. It's representative of their commitment to their friends across the seas. An international commitment. An international commitment of culture. Behind that is probably the most unique structure we can find along South Santa Fe, the Oval Dome House. It's a beautiful 21st century house set up on pods similar to what E.T. came to this country in. It's a 21st century house. I know if I'm around in the 21st century, I'd like to live in a house like that. It looks comfortable. It looks efficient. I wouldn't mind living in it now, as a matter of fact. We started at a little-known monument in Littleton and moved north into Denver, following South Santa Fe Drive. We've showed you the views of the camera and had some people share their views on camera about what should be done with South Santa Fe Drive. So what is the conclusion? Is this it? An empty lot owned by the highway department. Businesses were here, motels that housed tourists that came to this area, liquor stores, entertainment establishments, but they're all gone now, bulldozed down to make room for this expanded highway, a parkway. I don't think this is the answer. I disagree 100%. I don't think that the MX Dense Pack is the answer. Sure, it would provide a lot of jobs, but you would have to relocate too many people. I think the answer is to leave it alone, leave it as it is. I grew up in this area. I have some fond memories of the area, and I want it left alone, left for my children to see, so they can see the old block where the old man grew up on. That's what I want. There's not too much of that left in this country. As we move into the 21st century, everything is progress, everything is rebuild, everything is destroy and rebuild. We have to leave something for the past, and I think Santa Fe is a good example of the past. It's a beautiful area. It's a natural area. It's a natural area to leave as it is in its natural state. It upsets me that the people who drive from the suburban Littleton drive past and like the girl at ACC, don't even notice most of the time what's going on around them. I think they have to take a closer look. I hope our camera showed you a closer look and shows you the beauty of it. It's got to remain. And this lot is what you want to turn all of South Santa Fe into? It's boring. They should break up this with maybe a few billboards, maybe Field of Velvet, maybe, or a Tropical Tan billboard with one of those Hawaiian or Californian girls on a surfboard. At least there'll be something to look at as you drive by here. This is the most boring part of South Santa Fe because this part of South Santa Fe is the part that shows the progress. Well, we've shared everything with you, and we have to move on. as time moves on, but we have to leave something behind. Let's leave South Santa Fe as it is. Thank you very much. And don't forget to join us next week for East Colfax After Dark, an exciting, uncensored look at Denver's liveliest street. We'll look at Sid King's Crazy Horse Saloon, Kitty's Mini Flick, visit the folks at the historic Colony Lounge, and stop in for some fine cuisine at Wendy's. We'll talk to women who dress like men, men who dress like women, and learn how to tell the difference. We'll take you from the Capitol to the edge of Aurora. So put the kids to bed early and join us for East Colfax After Dark, 9 o'clock Monday, right after Colorado Surfing Championships.
When they tear down South Santa Fe, the skies will be gray, and I know there's something I must do, and I know I'm thinking right. I'll make a stand, put up a fight, protecting all those beautiful sights, and I know that I can't lose. MX missiles now makes insane, bulldoze houses for extra lane.